We are live.
All right, welcome back, listening audience. It's your host, Mike Sedini. We're back with the WTTA podcast. Joining us today is my co-host, Kevin Berry. Kevin, long time no see. We did this yesterday. We're doing it again. It's good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
And our special guest, and someone that I've developed quite a relationship in the last month. I'm excited to have you on today, Patrick Bertagna. How you doing?
Great. Welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, we're excited to have you because you're the CEO of MetAlert. We met through a mutual acquaintance. I believe in your product. When I saw a little bit about your background, it's something that I said, this is something that the firearms industry needs, right? For many years, I would say the industry we're not tech savvy. We're getting there, but that's one piece that we've always kind of lacked in the firearms industry. I mean, a lot of guns are, think about the 1911 and think about, the technology necessarily isn't there, but I think we're finally getting to that point where technology is being accepted in our industry. And so I'm excited to have you on to talk about that today and talk about this amazing product. But at the same time, I kind of want to dial it back, and I want to know your history, because as gun industry folks, like, we are always fascinated by people's journey to where they got to us, right? Like, how did they end up here? And I think your story is really interesting. So tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I started in the tech business 3 decades ago, and my first endeavor was developing software for supply chain management. Prior to that, I had been in the garment business and apparel business, footwear business as a manufacturer. So in the early 1990s, I sold my company, and I was looking to, in the late 1990s, sold the company, and I was looking to reinvent myself. And I saw a story about a little girl named Elizabeth Smart in Utah. She was abducted, and it was all over the news, and it was an ongoing story, and America was very captivated by that story. And I just sort of had an epiphany. Why don't we start putting GPS tracking devices inside of kids' shoes? And it was really one of those just sort of aha moments. I had experience in making footwear, and I had experience in supply chain management tracking technology. So we embarked on this endeavor, and it's been quite a journey ever since. We evolved over the years, and our core business is, I like to say we save lives. We help save lives. We basically make products to help keep remote monitoring oversight of human beings with cognitive disorders. So Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, traumatic brain injury. So we've been very active in a niche market where people need technology to help secure the livelihood and the well-being of their loved ones. About a year ago, I was afforded the opportunity to look at this gun tracking technology. A friend of mine brought it to my attention, a gentleman by the name of Rob Adams, investor in our company as well, and thought, this would be a great adjunct to what we're currently doing. I was a big believer in, I'm a big believer in utilizing technology to help save lives. And, obviously just watching the news, day in and day out over the last 30 years, we know we have some problems in this country. But taking people's guns away is not the answer. When grandma has Alzheimer's, you don't lock her up. You put technology on her that can help her loved ones track and monitor her and her well-being and ensure her safety. Same thing with firearms. You don't take them away from people. You can't, first of all, because of the Second Amendment, but most importantly, that's just not right. But we have to secure and know where firearms are at all times. So that's what kind of led us here. And I reciprocate the sentiment. It's been really nice to have met you in this short period of time, and we have developed a very nice relationship. So again, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you today.
Oh, 100%. And Kevin, my conversations with Patrick are like podcasts, right? Like, we have these great conversations. But one of the things that I loved about Patrick when I first met him is when he was explaining this technology, and Kevin's going to totally understand this. Like, as gun people, we are so paranoid, and we're goofy sometimes. We're paranoid about being tracked, or when we hear the word tracked, it seems like it's like a negative thing. But we're also the same people that are showing our firearms off on Instagram, right? But then we turn right around and we're like, don't track me, don't do this, whatever, right? But when you first met me, you were being very delicate when the way you were approaching talking to me about this product, to make sure you were crystal clear that this is not something that you want to be developed for any kind of rights infringements or, that type of thing. And it was really funny because you were like, hey, the product could do this XYZ or whatever if we wanted it to. And, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, well, can it do this? Right? Like I took it a step further that almost that the typical gun person would probably be like, who doesn't want that? And you literally go to me, you're the second gun person that's asked me that. Right. And I think it kind of speaks to the way that we're coming along, right? We're starting to understand that to get ahead of these negative outcomes of firearms, that maybe technology could be our friend. And if it's done right, and if there's a mutual understanding of the fears and things that we as the firearms industry go through, when it comes to protecting the Second Amendment, if we're working with the companies and you're working with actual gun industry folks, we're going to make the best product we can. And it's one of those things. It's like either you use it or you don't. You don't have to use it, right? But it just makes sense. So, kind of take me through that. Like like you were very, like you kept telling me, hey, like I'm trying to learn here. Like I'm not trying to come in with an ego. I'm not trying to come in here to say like, this is what we got to do. And that's what I love about you. Like it's you're open to any suggestion, right? You want to get it right. I got that right?
Yeah, no. I always say, anybody that knows me and works with me will know that I use this line quite often. The only thing I'm really attached to is success. I don't care how you get there, as long as it's lawful and moral. But I don't care if you work in the middle of the night in your pajamas eating peanut butter. As long as you get the work done, I'm okay with that. So I'm attached to success. And yeah, you're right. On our first conversation, I was treading very lightly, because there is a sensitivity around tracking and monitoring. And what we like to say is that our technology really is about notifications and recovery. And the idea, the way, let me start by explaining to the audience, our product is simple, but yet very effective. It's a combination steel cable lock. Okay, everyone's got one of those, but we all know if, that's on the firearm, anybody takes it, they can cut it off with a bolt cutter. But what we've added to the combination lock is a highly sensitive patented motion sensor and a GPS and cellular tracking technology. So what that does is, use cases, your weapon is in a nightstand drawer. 5-year-old toddler opens the nightstand drawer. A housekeeper, a neighbor, a friend, doesn't matter who. The minute that the drawer is open, the firearm owner gets an alert on their phone. There's motion. So that's the first sort of line of defense. The second one is if the weapon is taken, and the GPS and cellular kicks in. So it'll work virtually anywhere there's cellular coverage, and you'll get a pin drop on your phone, and whereby you can alert the authorities or neighbors or friends. I mean, think about the assassination attempt on Trump's life a couple months ago, right? If the father would have known that his weapon and his son are on their way to that rally, he could have called the authorities and said so. And we don't know, but there's a likelihood that the outcome would have been different. Right, they would have averted that situation. And same with any school shootings, which I think we're going to get into a little bit, obviously, after what the horrific tragedy of the other day. But getting back to the core question, I tread lightly on this monitoring, because it's really about notifying you.
Looks like we're having some technical difficulties. Hopefully, Patrick can come on. I just can't hear you. Say something now.